Welcome to At the Table,
where we are connecting entrepreneurs, discovering missions, and building communities with purpose, body, soul, mind, and business with
Charlie
and Heather with Free Time Solutions.
Hello and welcome to the table. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather, and it's Monday.
Mindset Monday again. And this week we are on the last chapter of Don Miguel Ruiz's The Voice of Knowledge, which is currently the last chapter that I'm reading for the weekly reading on our YouTube channel. So
enjoy.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy that.
Yes.
It's a good one.
We are also reading Love People and Use Things Because the Opposite Never Works by Joshua Fields Milburn and Ryan Nicodemus.
Yep, the minimalists.
It's really freaking good so far.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. And these two chapters, the miracle and the
magic.
The magic when we're reading two books and they just come together and you're like, dude, these two chapters should always be paired together. And this is that week, definitely. Especially for being, the end of a book and only the second chapter of the next book.
But they work together so well. So the purpose of two books is our idea is one personal growth book, one business growth book, and Love People Use Things is kind of on the cusp of both of those, because you need to use these skills and all the things, but then so is the Four Agreements, the Voice of Knowledge.
Once we get into the books, they are both, it's an and situation, right? But that's the idea, and the magic of doing both together is looking at two different authors and then seeing how
their perspective, their tools,
how they're using it, not just listening to one voice but listening to many.
Yeah.
So we can find our own truth, which is what we're talking about today.
Yes. So
I think I planned that.
Chapter 12 in the Voice of Knowledge this week talks about the tree of life, and it talks about the tree of knowledge, right? And if you grew up in the church, you've heard the stories, and the way that Don Miguel Ruiz puts the stories into perspective from all religions is awesome. And I highly recommend you go read it for yourself.
This is one of those chapters that just sucked me in. I was I read the whole chapter in one sitting, which is hard for me to sit still that long. Right.
Meanwhile, I could read a whole book in a day. But that's how the magic of how we grow and learn, and the fact that we're different humans living life differently, but on the same vibration, right? We're going, and our vibrations going up. But the overarching theme of the chapter, The Tree of Life, is you are responsible for you. Radical responsibility.
Ooh. Dropping some joke. Coach Jackie and their radical responsibility for your life. Prophecies from many different philosophies of the world tell us that we are going back to a place of love. And that's where the truth sits, in love.
Paradise is that place of truth and love.
I really liked the comparison, especially after getting back from doing some medieval reenactment, where they imagine you wake up and you find yourself in Europe in the Middle Ages. I was like, oh, funny that you say that. Because and then he's talking about seeing how people are, the lies that the government spewed to control people over time, yes, because you can really see it.
Yeah. I was actually having a conversation with things that were true for us as children that are no longer true, Pluto as a planet.
Ooh. Yeah.
Right.
Pluto's a planet in my heart.
Right. Pluto is a planet. the only thing, like we could only reach the moon,
Right.
right?
We weren't on Mars.
We weren't on Mars. No, we have rovers on Mars now. No
And
people
they
yet.
already gone to the moon when we were born.
Yeah.
Right. So that was like before we were born. They did a little bit of space. We got to the moon. And that was like it for the longest time.
The longest time. What else were we talking about that was truth when we were little that is no longer truth? Oh, they have found that the way the Earth's crust moves around and stuff is more akin to like giant islands than actual like land coming up out of the ocean. Like
The world is actually made of giant islands.
yeah.
So it's like this big continent.
And that's how Pangea moved around.
Isn't actually like connected to the center of the earth and stuck right there.
Right.
It's actually a big.
This is like new science stuff.
Oh, wow.
That they've been able to prove. And I was like, that's cool. Also creepy.
How far down do they gotta dig?
I have no idea
how
like, they
that
figure
blows
this
my
stuff
mind.
out.
Okay.
But, like,
so that's not my area of expertise.
That like rewrites all of what we know about geography and how things are formed. Right. It changes all of it.
Interesting. That is interesting.
New science.
New science. Let's go straight to the points to ponder because it really brings it back around to the 4 agreements to, well, both of these books do, but I dropped truth.
The voice of the fallen angel is so loud that we cannot hear the voice of our spirit, our integrity, and our love. This silent voice is always there. Before we learned to speak, when we were 1 and 2 years old, we listened to this voice.
This made me think of the exercises we did when we were working with Sandy, where we got the pictures of ourselves and that joy before society took over and gave us a story when we were just living in our own truths. Right.
Yeah. This puts the, when you call children the little angels, right? Or even, and they use this story as an example when Jesus was like, do what the children do, because they're living in, like, the message is they're living in 100% in love, right? And there's no judgment there, right? That was the message when he was talking to the people about be like the children. It's
so cool.
So cool. Number 2, when you are born, you don't know what you are, but your body knows what it is, and it knows what to do. This is silent knowledge. You can feel silent knowledge every time you breathe.
Our body knows what to do.
Right. Silent knowledge. Your body knows what to do.
In fact, if a kid tries to hold their breath to hurt themselves, they're just going to pass out and start breathing. Yeah. Like you can't not. Your body won't.
You are an angel and your life is your message. You can be a messenger of lies, fear, and destruction, or a messenger of truth, love, and creation. But you cannot deliver lies and truth at the same time.
It's not a thing.
Nope.
I think that even goes to because if you're lying to yourself about something, you feel like you're saying the truth, but you're still spreading the lie. That totally makes sense to me.
Heaven is the story that we can create when we surrender to life and allow life to manifest without lies. Heaven is here and it is available for everybody, but we need to have the eyes to perceive it.
All right. There's a few more, but you can go ahead and listen to those over
on the YouTube channel.
On YouTube as well, podcast too. Anywhere you're listening, you can find Charlie read it to us because she is amazing. However, these new chapters in this new book are horrendously long.
And just in case you missed it or forgot, that book is Love People, Use Things by the Minimalists. We're on chapter 2 this week, which is about truth, which kind of wraps us back to the 4 agreements of being impeccable with your word.
Don't make assumptions.
Don't make assumptions. Like that's like the theme of this chapter, which is really, really cool. And they start with dropping some serious truth bombs. The first of which that I came along here was, where'd it go?
He starts by talking about his mom and her journey.
So, because of our tangled lies, it is possible to be exceedingly loving and still inflict pain. Truly, we tend to cause the most pain to the people we love the most. We're careless with what we love, and if we're careless with anything for long enough, it breaks.
Boom! Wait, what?
We're careless with what we love, and if we're careless with anything for long enough, it breaks.
I like that went into, like, he was talking about his marriage and
how it kind of fell apart.
Yeah, and how you kind of stay in it because you don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. And then eventually, like, both of you are staying in it because you don't want to hurt the other person's feelings.
Right. But as we've said before, and I will say again, it is okay to disappoint other people. It is not okay to disappoint yourself.
Because and if you're sitting in that truth with in a relationship and you're sitting with that truth and you're being impeccable with your word and you're not letting yourself down and you're actually being brave enough to share what you're feeling, that vulnerability is going to change your relationship. It's going to change the directory of the relationship. So I'm not saying, oh, if this is happening, you guys are going to be divorced. That probably not, because you have this opportunity to acknowledge that and have a conversation.
Right. And I've had numerous of these conversations with my husband over the years, because we're not the same people we were when we got married 20 years ago. We're just not. You know? And so we've had
something that like may have started out as a joke becomes hurtful sometimes in relationships, right? Or it isn't taken the right way sometimes,
right?
And so if you don't talk about that, then that builds up.
Or I would say this to be a little bit more accurate, we are so used to hearing things a certain way that it doesn't faze us until we know better.
Right.
Right.
So
we're so used to being abused.
And remember, you only accept the abuse that is a little bit less than what you abuse yourself.
Right. So the more I've been impeccable with my word, the more I have been truthful to myself, the more things have come up in my relationship with my husband. And we've had talks too.
Yeah.
Things have come up through our growth journey that we have to talk about, because that's how we grow or let go.
Right.
One or the other.
And I really appreciate you, because you come to me and be like, hey babe, I see this and I feel like you're taking things personally, and I understand where you're at, but are you aware? Like, and I can tell you where I went in my head, and you're like, wow, that was all you. Yep. I don't know where that came from. Like, and so it's really awesome to be able to have a friend that is so awesome that I can have those kind of conversations with, because not every person can hold that space.
Right. And not every person feels comfortable enough to be truthful with you enough to call you out on it. I love you too much to lie to you. right? And that's how we should treat everybody we come across. I love you too much to lie to you. And if I lie to you, I don't feel good about it.
Ugh. It feels gross.
If I lie to you, I'm lying to myself.
Now that we've been working on being impractical with our word and really sitting with the feeling of what that feels like, it's like more truth, more truth, more truth. And then if something's a lie, we're like, oh,
yeah,
it just doesn't feel good, you know.
I was telling Heather before we started this recording that I still catch myself all the time lying to myself. Like,
well, that's where I was, right?
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes you don't know that you're lying to yourself because you are literally in your head and you can't see inside the box. So having somebody with that accountability piece, right? I'm working on this. This is like if you're working with therapists, like you can be like true or not true. And I have asked those questions when I've realized, but I don't always realize when I'm going on a tangent, right? Because I literally have sat on your back porch and been like, this is where my brain went. Do we think this is true or not true? Or is this me freaking out? Oh, it's me freaking out. Cool. We can let that go then, right? Because that doesn't help.
No.
Yeah.
No. Because then it actually gets in the middle of what we're trying to accomplish.
Yes.
For the day, for the season, because then if I don't talk to you about it, then it's going to bother me.
Right.
And then it's going to it's going to create this wound and it's going to fester and it's going to get infected.
And what happens when we're infected and we're all wound savvy? We're going to infect on other people, right? It's gross.
It's a whole
we don't want to do it. All right. We tanted.
So, comfort is a liar. As we obtain larger homes and more status and greater wealth, we often grow disconnected from the very things that make us feel alive. Boom.
I really like this little whole section about this idea that there's one person out there for us.
Oh, yeah. And I read that and I was like, wow.
I liked this. You are the one. You for yourself are the one, which is something that I've been really working on, like showing up every day for myself, not letting myself down. No, you know, it's okay to let other people down, but not yourself, right?
Yep.
You are the only person in the world who can complete and fulfill you and ensure your happiness. Everyone else is a potential, hopefully wonderful addition to the fated situation.
You're born complete, you die complete, and you decide whom you spend your time with in between. You get to decide. Wow.
So you are your one person.
Right.
Stop looking. You already found them.
Right. I used to think that JR, my husband, was like my person, right? But what we both came to realize probably about year 7, 8 of our marriage, that we were too dependent on the other person for our happiness.
That codependency.
And we needed to be happy on our own without the
taking that radical responsibility before you even knew it.
Right.
Before we had this, like,
but we had to
20 years, y'all.
Yeah. But we've had to grow together, and if he wasn't willing to grow with me, we wouldn't be here.
I got 20 years of experience, but with 2 different people.
Does that count?
Does that count?
You all learn what to do and what not to do and what works and what doesn't, and some people just won't grow with you.
Right. And I like this too. They were like, you want to kill Godzilla when he's a baby. So when you're having those thoughts, you want to stop him there. You get to decide.
Before it gets big and burns down the village.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah, I actually have this last night. I was sitting at the dinner table with the kids, and we have this thing, like if you cook dinner, you don't have to clean up, everybody else cleans up. You are responsible for like rinsing your own plate and bowl and silverware off and putting that away, but the rest of everything gets cleaned up by the people who did not.
The people that partake of dinner.
Well, there's been a few instances lately that the kids were taken off and I was left with the dishes, or it was their turn to do dishes and I'd get up in the morning and the sink's still full of dishes. So
and you weren't even here to eat dinner. Like
right. So I'm doing dishes for food I didn't eat or partake in, like rude.
Yeah.
And so we had this talk about, you know, this radical responsibility around like take care of your own stuff. You're responsible for your own stuff. You have your day of the week that you cook dinner. It's your responsibility to make sure your ingredients are on the grocery list if we need them, like this whole thing with these quasi-adult children. Right. But it's like we have to have that conversation because I was about to lose my mind. I was going to lose my mind, and nope, couldn't have that. Mistakes and dumb decisions.
I liked this, like owning that it's not a mistake. It's you actually made a dumb decision.
Right.
Like,
right. A mistake is something that happens without previously thinking about it. Right. So, he says when he cheated on his wife that was a dumb decision. And he did it because he felt so horrible about himself that he wanted to feel worse, essentially, like self-punishment. And
that's facing your own
but
truth, right?
it was like there were decisions made along the way that led to that.
Right. And at any point you can get off of that wagon.
Right.
To that decision.
Right.
You get to decide.
You get to decide. So,
and I like that instead of it being a mistake, is really realizing that it was a dumb decision, because that gives you your power
right
back in the situation
right.
to make changes.
Right. You learn and grow from those
yeah.
decisions. There's a cost with lying. No matter what, if you lie, there's a cost associated with that. What is the cost of lies? What we soon discover over the course of 5 beautifully crafted episodes, and they're talking about the HBO docudrama Chernobyl, is that our lies cost us everything. Lies strip us of our integrity, our honor, our rectitude, our virtue, and our trust. Lies cost us friendships and love, meaningful experiences and worthwhile interactions, respect, and freedom.
Ooh, which is actually the opposite of everything we want in life.
And in some extreme cases, lies can cost people their lives, right? The cost of the truth, on the other hand, is drudgery, diligence, and delayed gratification. But the reward is a peace of mind so great that the labor is always worth the price. Honesty is a gift we can give to others. It's also a gift we can give to ourselves. Don't freaking lie. And there's nothing that makes me angrier than when my kids lie to me. And I have always told them, if you make a mistake or a dumb decision and you just tell me the truth about it, you're going to get in a lot less trouble than if you try to hide it from me, if you lie to me, or if you use manipulation tactics. That's not going to happen.
And sometimes it's like the thing they're lying about is actually no big deal. The problem becomes the energy they create by being deceitful, lying, hiding it, right? That energy is really awful. And we don't want people to go down that road. So I think as parents, we really want our kids to understand that. But we have to model it.
Yeah.
So I've always...
Kids do what they see, not do as they say. Right?
We've known this.
We know this, right?
So the smoking parents being the example, right? Your kids were smokers. It was normal.
Right.
Now our kids don't see parents, as many parents smoking. Less kids are smoking. Like it's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's really a thing. That's like you can go look it up.
Right.
So
I probably would not have ever smoked cigarettes if my parents had both quit when I was young. My mom quit when I was like 7, and then my dad quit when I was like 35.
Big difference, right?
Big difference.
Right.
Yeah.
And my grandpa would like hide and smoke cigarettes because he was supposed to have quit. And catching him in that made for a weird relationship at that point, right?
Right. And I don't like the lying to your person.
Yeah.
One of the things I highlighted in this next section, that there's more than one kind of truth, is regardless of whether a truth is subjective or objective, one thing is clear. The more difficult the truth, the harder it is to admit, especially the truths that have been covered up with lies. It's easier to tell the truth the first time than if you lied about it, and then you have to go back and people keep covering up their lies with more lies, right? Sweep it under the rug, nobody's gonna know. Yeah. Eventually you pull the rug up. It's a whole thing.
Eventually the rug has to be clean. So minimalist rule for living, spontaneous combustion rule. This is awesome. So this is the idea, is like you're holding your possession. If it is going to spontaneously combust, will you be upset? Or will you feel relieved that you no longer have to deal with this possession?
If you feel relieved, just let it go.
Let it go. It doesn't need to spontaneously combust for you to let it go. Right?
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Guilt tells us something about our actions. We broke a rule, hurt someone's feelings, or acted incongruently with our ideal self, and now we feel awful about it. But shame says something about who we are, about our identity.
We know people that work entirely with helping people work through their shame.
Yeah.
Because it really is how you feel about yourself. They can't shame you if you don't feel that way inside.
Right. You can feel guilty that you made a mistake. But shame is more like when you made a bad decision, right? Like, there's a thing there. And then further down, he says, letting the truth out is how we become free. It might be uncomfortable, but it's better to feel discomfort than shame, because discomfort advances with time, but shame persists and builds upon itself. A lot of the things that we do, the veils, it's all shame.
It builds
right?
on
It builds on itself. Right.
Like, wow. That's heavy to me. You got some more stuff highlighted.
I do.
What do you got? That looks yummy.
Later on, he talks about his daughter Ella scored in her soccer team only 2 goals, right? But they were really careful about how they praised her for her skill and not to compliment her for her talent. Saying you played a great game is more powerful than you're so good. The former praises her actions, the later comments on her aptitude, because a healthy sense of significance is elevated by specificity. It's a hard tongue twister, and elaborated on what made Ella's playing great, citing specific examples of what she did, when and how she did it, and why we were proud of her actions. Earned significance strengthens over time because our self-worth increases as we gain a sense of competence, accomplishment, and purpose from our endeavors. Unearned significance is paved with instant gratification.
I feel like there could be a whole conversation about giving kids prizes for participation. Yeah. Okay, that's another podcast entirely. Not where we're going today, but you can totally see it, right?
Oh, the key to eradicating shame, very important. The key to eradicating shame then is this: find significance not in the persona you portray or the person you were, but in the best version of yourself.
Are you showing as your best self, doing your best? Are you being impeccable with your word? Are you taking things personally?
Are you making assumptions? Right?
And always doing your best.
Not someone else's future self, your future self.
I do like that truth can hold more value than staying silent.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna get ahead here. We got another minimalist rule for living with less.
The 10 most expensive possessions rule. So this is where you take a list of your 10 most expensive possessions. It might be a house, a car, maybe 2 cars, maybe a travel trailer. you know, and maybe you have these things in your life of like high value. Maybe you have a $20,000 watch, you know, make a list of your top 10 most expensive things next to that list, and make another list with the 10 things that add the most value to your life. Right? Experiences like maybe catching a sunset with a loved one, watching your kids play baseball, making love to your spouse, eating dinner with your parents. Compare the two lists and discover they share very few things in common, and it's possible there's no overlap at all.
Ooh.
Are these things actually adding value to your life, or are you spending a bunch of money you don't need to impress people that you don't like?
The next part is about being trapped by fear. And I just really recommend picking up this book and reading that, because we're gonna kind of just skip ahead to the
there's one sentence right here I wanted to take. Sometimes we don't know how to love the ones we love until they disappear from our lives.
You may not realize that you're taking advantage of them
until it's too late. Right. And so we tend to hold on to stuff that reminds us of the person because we didn't have that, like, the type of relationship we wanted with them. So we want to heal that with stuff.
It's not going to work, guys. It's just not going to work.
I thought this was funny here. He says, I wish I would have known that buying a luxury vehicle wasn't going to make me a better person.
The shiny car does not make you a better person.
No. I've also heard it said that the more money you have, it just elevates the type of person that you are.
Right. Which is great as being someone that wants to come out of poverty and into what we considered a rich category, right? That if we're looking at examples of people that are rich, are they people that are healed?
Right. Which they actually talk about in this a little bit. But these questions about truth, I think maybe we'll end there today, are pretty poignant.
Whew. So get your pencils and papers out. You're going to be journaling. Just so you know, because just reading one question was like, ooh, okay, truth bombs. Are you ready?
Number 1, what is one essential truth you are hiding right now?
Sometimes I hide that I'm worthy.
No, yeah, that's exactly the one that came up for me, was like, I'm stepping into my own and it's terrifying, but it's so worth it at the same time because it's my truth and it's not what other people have put on me. So, ooh, it just got really bright all of a sudden.
How has hiding truth caused discontent or hurt relationships?
How has hiding the truth caused discontent or hurt relationships? I think we can all come up with a few examples.
I think so.
Number 3, what is the worst thing that will happen if you tell the truth? What is the best thing that will happen? Ooh. What's the worst thing that would happen if you tell the truth? What's the best thing that would happen? Right?
This is where the journaling comes in. What difficult conversations must you conduct in order to avoid making more regrettable decisions? That might be a difficult conversation with yourself. Because I've really been working on like how I'm judging myself, and then that causing me to show up in a different way because I'm judging myself. And so then that's that radical responsibility. So that could even be a conversation you have to have with yourself.
And sometimes it is a conversation with yourself because you were taught to lie to yourself. So you have to teach yourself to stop lying to yourself. And sometimes you have to tell yourself who's boss.
And since you're the boss, so if we see you talking to yourself, we'll just assume you're having a staff meeting, okay?
How will the truth help you grow? How will the lies prevent you from growing?
There really is a freedom in the truth. even if it's a hard truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because the truth is coming from a place of love and honesty,
Mm-hmm.
and it puts you in the correct trajectory for your life. Trajectory.
I also feel like working on your personal growth requires you to be truthful with yourself. It is a requirement. You cannot grow.
You can listen to the books
with the lies.
You could listen to or read the same book or podcast over and over and over again. But if you don't get true with yourself,
it's not.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
It's like, thank you for listening to something better than the news. But
good job.
Yeah.
Right. It takes a lot of effort to do these things because you're opening yourself up to vulnerability.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And vulnerability is scary because vulnerability usually comes with judgment. You know, we're always going to judge ourselves harder than we do anybody else. So just remember that as you are going through this.
Yeah. And remember, you can always dial 888 and get some help if you need it. They're always there for you. You can always reach out to us. We're happy to chat. If you need a doctor, go to the doctor. You know, it's okay to get counseling if you need it. I've had a lot of counseling. A lot of counseling. I did a lot of family counseling. A lot. I've done immersive counseling. I don't recommend it. No, it was really awesome and very healing. It was very hard, but very good.
Yeah. Finding different ways where you can work on your own personal growth is really good. For me, it came in the form of conversations and yoga and meditation and reading the books and using the tools and doing the
practicing. Journaling.
Right.
In the doing.
The doing.
Here we go again. But the goal is that we have the power to choose and decide, which is why we have Mindset Monday. So we're really grateful that you're here with us. We appreciate you, and we hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as we do. We have some journaling to do.
We do have some journaling to do now. And I hope you journal about it on your own. You know, let us know what you're learning. Maybe you're reading a different book than we are. Maybe you have a different perspective than what we do. That's okay. You're allowed.
We'd love to hear it. Absolutely.
For sure. And
because there's room at the table.
Thank you for pulling up a seat. We love you.
Namaste. Mwah! As entrepreneurs, we have a unique opportunity to make a positive impact in the world around us. In a time when the world is shifting towards supporting local businesses and embracing community-driven initiatives, it becomes even more important for us to give where our heart leads us. At the table, we believe in the power of giving back, and that's why we have our cause of the quarter. This quarter, we are proud to support Perfect Pals, a local organization dedicated to rescuing and providing care for stray cats in our community. By supporting local causes like Perfect Pals, we not only make a difference in the lives of those in need, but we also contribute to the growth and well-being of our local community. We believe in small acts of kindness, and they can create a ripple effect of positivity, inspiring others to do the same. As we shift our focus solely from supporting large corporations to championing local businesses and giving back, we not only strengthen our community, but we also foster a sense of connection and unity. Together, we can create a thriving ecosystem where everyone can flourish. So let's follow our hearts and give where it truly matters. Join in supporting Perfect Pals and making a difference in the lives of these furry companions. Together we can make our community a better place, one act of kindness at a time. Thank you for being part of our journey and for embracing the spirit of giving together. Let's create a brighter future for all.
Are you tired of juggling endless tasks, struggling to find time for what truly matters? We have the solution for you. Introducing Free Time Solutions, your ultimate partner in reclaiming your time and maximizing your potential. At Free Time Solutions, we specialize in helping businesses like yours thrive in a digital world. From social media management to website optimization and branding, we have the expertise to elevate your online presence and streamline your operations. Imagine having time to focus on what you love to do while we take care of your business. With our dedicated team of experts and innovative solutions, we leave you free to pursue your passions and achieve your goals. Whether you are a small business owner, entrepreneur, freelancer, we offer comprehensive services tailored to your needs. Our goal is simple: to give you back time, freedom to do what you do best while we handle the rest. So join us at the table and let Free Time Solution empower you to take control of your time and unlock your full potential. Visit our website at www.yourfreetimeback.com. That's www.yourfreetimeback.com to learn more and schedule your consultation today. Free Time Solutions, your partner in success. Let's make the most of your free time together. Thank you for joining us at the table. Stay tuned for weekly readings on Sunday, Mindset Monday, discussing our weekly readings on Monday, and on Friday, our interview and potentially guest hosts. Stay tuned.
Thank you for joining in on the fun. Be sure to like and subscribe for more.